The Bounty Hunters. Pukey flips the massive coin, sending shimmering reflections in distorted colors everywhere. Axiom ride what a powerful metal. Without even considering practical uses, people will fight, kill, and die for it. In particular, he had just delivered a prominent thief, with evidence clearly indicating it was her. Stupid woman had made one of the cardinal mistakes of criminals. She had committed a far worse crime to cover up a lesser one. In this case, murder to conceal theft. With theft, she could have gotten away with some light jail time and fines now. Now she'd be in the slammer for a long, long time. Pukey stops fiddling when he sees something odd. The delivery station has a paper stuck to the wall next to the holographic readout. He had sort of seen it, but dismissed it as a note to someone in the office. Like how some people could redefine passive-aggressive when it came to sticky note usage in a workplace. The air conditioning had blown it so it was tilted away from the entrance and unreadable until now. The word "help us" was clearly emblazoned on the top. The hell? He plucks it off the wall. Help us. There is a terrible adept whom has taught our entire world of Albreth to fear her very name. There is a massive squiggle and splotch following, as if someone's arm jolted while they were writing. It happens after nearly every sentence, but the paper is a computer readout. Was the letter scanned and sent? What is going on? When did this come in? Pukey asks the secretary at the bounty station. This one was a man, so he was both mildly confused and greatly relieved when it was revealed that the Chainbreakers were a heavily male bounty hunting organization. It was an automatic print out less than an hour ago. It was so strange. I wanted to rescan it and put it in the holo display, but policy says the copy goes on the wall. Weird blotches and all. The secretary answers. It almost looks like the person was being constantly attacked as they wrote this. He notes and the secretary shrugs. I thought so at first too, but then I actually thought about it. If they were being attacked that much, then how did they get it to a scanner to have it formally sent here? And if they could do that, then why couldn't they indicate more information? All the actual info on that paper are just 3 things. Edith Plumage is the payee. The planet is Albreth, roughly 40 light-years away, and Vasuda's Mert is the target. That's it, Pukey says, looking over the paper. Can I take this with me, if only for the novelty of having a bounty on paper rather than digital? Sure, but I'm just going to print up another, the secretary says, and Pukey shrugs. I know. Still, this is weird. So you're taking up the mission? There's no indicated bounty or even an indication what Vasuda's Mart is or what she's done beyond some vaguely ominous assertions. Nothing concrete. Maybe so, but a letter begging for help against the one whose name we all fear to speak isn't something you get every day. Pukey notes, I'd be deeply concerned if it was. If it is dangerous, you're going in with almost no information and there's no proof it's not some child that... Never mind. You know your job and I know mine. Is there anything else you need from this office, Mr. Schmidt? The secretary cuts off their own concerns before going back to business. Good points. But if this is legit, then this is serious. What does a person have to do to make someone afraid to even speak their name? Not to mention the little smear on the paper indicates they must have done something after just writing it down. He notes as he folds up the paper and pocketing it. All right, I've got some people to talk to then. Excuse me. Pukey notes before leaving the office. Hey, if you find something interesting going on, post the story on the Mech and Hunter forums. I browse them pretty often for stories, the secretary says, and Pukey turns and offers the man a salute in response before slipping out of the building. He has to blink a bit. It was much brighter outside. The world is one of the variants that not only makes a lot of sense, but is just nice to be on. Basically, with a ton of massive factories in orbit that need monitoring, the whole planet has been allocated for nice and comfortable lodgings. which meant plenty of space for the people to relax, comfortable theaters and public parks aplenty, massive sprawling cities that were designed to be nice to live in rather than to maximize a developer's profit. All in all, for a good chunk of the galaxy, a planet like this was a paradise, which meant a lot of people wanted to live here. But there were two queues for housing: local factory workers and other. The workers got priority, which meant the planet was a perk that helped employee retention and hiring. He pulls out his communicator, and the first app was a map of the city. Everyone else's communicators were keyed to it like GPS. He presses a button to let everyone know that he wants to have a meetup and indicates a location. May as well spend some of the credits, right? As predicted, he gets a list of drink and meal requests from the restaurant they're all heading to, and shortly enough Pukey is beaten there by Tang, who's clearly already started a tab and is toasting him as he arrives. The waitress is a Lopen woman still arranging some tables to be closer together as he does this. "So what's this about?" the sniper asks, and is handed the paper even as Pukey order himself the hardest thing on the menu while also picking up Cindy's and Snakey's favorites as well. Litha doesn't like drinking and mostly only eats as a social activity. This looks like something out of a horror movie. Maybe. It's weird, and while I want to take a look, I'm just the captain. I want the input of my crew. Help us. There is a terrible adept that has taught our entire world of Albrith to fear her very name. Random squiggle. Please help. Another squiggle. It's horrible. Squiggle. I am Edith Plumage, and I will not live in fear of Visuda Mert. Gigantic squiggle. Tang reads off before giving Pukey a quirked eyebrow. Is this a joke? I don't know. That's why this one is going to a vote, Pukey replies. The squiggles imply the woman got killed or was being attacked, but how did she send it if she was already dead? Was she using some kind of digital pen with a timer to auto-send or something? Tang asks, and Pukey shrugs as he returns to the table and sets out the drinks. Hence why it's pinging my bullshit detector, but the galaxy is weird and wide enough for this to be completely legit. If it is legit, then we have an adept that has done something to invoke a great deal of fear, which could be anything from a mass slaughter to an axiom effect that triggers the flight half of the fight or flight response. What's this about flight? Air Farce asks, coming in with Onyx and Jade. Figures you'd focus on that. Tang notes running a bit of axiom through the paper and flicking it at him. Strange possible mission, Bossman wants a vote on it. Air Farce catches the paper and scans it. I think this is the first time we got a bounty on paper. For measure that this is a bounty. I've had paper bounties before, Onyx notes as she takes it herself. These are usually so that a local criminal doesn't know there are hunters closing in on them. You can access official forums and announcement boards from wherever, but you can't find something like this if you just do a word search for your name. You need actual information from inside the station it's posted at. Are we leaving already? We just got here, Jade protests. That's what we're going to be deciding on, little lady. If that thing's legit, a lot of people are in a lot of trouble. But we take the vote after the meal, so we've had some time to digest the info while also digesting some good food, Pukey says, and Jade nods. Do they have beef? She asks. I'm not sure. I think I heard something about an agricultural cloning facility on planet. Onyx considers. Yeah, I spotted one being made on the local maps and a few that are already set up, but beef is going to be in high demand due to it being exotic. There just might not be enough for it here. Yay, sorry, we don't actually have any. Our next shipment is in 3 days and we're usually sold out in just as much time. The waitress says, walking up with a large stack of menus she starts placing at all the different seats. The crew is getting bigger and bigger, so it only makes sense to have a lot of places. Still, if you want to sink your fangs into something, we have a local dish that is firm, hearty, and takes Canador-level spices very easily. It's a favorite among those that work security and law enforcement too. Sounds good. What page are they on? Inside of the cover, Tarkless Bird. Their eggs are also delicious and a lot of local Nagasha swear by them, the waitress assures them. Spotted that there was Nagasha in our party, hun? Pukey asks. This is my part-time as I work on my bachelorettes of engineering. I know how to pay close attention to details. The waitress notes and Pukey nods. He then smiles as a rather odd conglomeration shows up. Cindy has to be helped down off of Litha's shoulder by Snakey, who's apparently getting really nervous in that he's soon to become an older brother. Hey there. Hopefully I didn't interrupt anything too important. Pukey greets them and then sees that the timing of his calling out was excellent. Pretty much everyone else is right behind them. As everyone seats themselves and gets their drinks to start out with, the paper is passed around. The hat reads it out loud with Mr. T leaning over his shoulder. The Crimson Hewers take a few glances at it and the general consensus is that something is up. However, Pukey puts a veto on anyone making any big declarations until after the meal to give everyone enough time to not only think on it but think again as well. The taklist gets ordered in about a dozen different variations, and with the restaurant having everything it needs to serve canadors, the human members of the crew don't even need to pull out their camping shakers. Pukey nods to himself before finishing off his drink. His crew are comrades, and while there are disagreements, it's clear that things are good. The Hewers are boasting and being met by the men. The married are flirting heavily. The children are happy, and brothers and sisters in arms are clearly on one another's side. When he had been promoted to Captain, Pukey had asked for advice to really make things work. Admiral Cistern himself had answered the call for aid. A good leader can stand apart from their men and be dispassionate, as well as with them to share their passions. Those who are really good, they know when to do these things. All right, everyone settle down. We've all had a good meal, we've had a good time, and we've all had a look at the strange call for help I found. Our options are to ignore the call, answer the call in person, or kick it up the chain and see if something happens. Pukey begins. We should definitely at least take a look. Even if it's a weird prank, there isn't a single planet in the galaxy that doesn't at least need a bail bonds agent. We're not going to lose money, Bike explains before taking a sip of his refilled drink. Albrith has not had any delays in its imports or exports, but that can be easily faked or maintained even when something goes terribly wrong. Litha adds, I got nothing against this. If there's no prize, then it's just business as usual. If it's something weird, then we got something to do. Either way, there are no downsides, Itchy remarks. I say go. Answering a call for help is a good habit in my opinion. J3 contributes. Fight or fun, either way we're good. Amaka of the Crimson Hewers notes, compared to her sister, she's a hand-to-hand specialist to such a degree, she dyed a lock of hair that hung between her eyes bright blazing blue with a challenge to take it from her in every spar. The lock had grown 3 feet long without anyone taking the prize, although the hat had given it a good yank. He didn't take it out though, as he called it cute, and she started putting curls in it in response. Let's go see what's happening. Although I reserve the right to laugh at you all if this is just a prank. Mustard adds, what I actually want has majority anyways, so I'll just say no to be contrarian. Dong puts in and earns a few snorts. All right, fine. Any actual opposing voices to going to Albrith to respond to the call for help? Pukey asks. Only that we're still here, the hat says with a big grin, and there are some cheers from the Crimson Hewers. Settle down. This is a restaurant, not a sports bar, but fine, we have our destination.